Circle A has a diameter of 1 foot. Circle B has a circumference of 1 meter. Which circle is bigger? So a couple of things to notice. We have diameter and feet. We have circumference and meters. And the question is pretty easy, which one is bigger? But we also have some information here that we can go from inches to centimeters. So with that in mind, I'm going to start with a quick sketch. Here's my circle. This is circle A. And I know that for circle A, the diameter is 1 foot. So keep in mind, diameter is when you go through the center from edge to edge of the circle, right? So I wanted to start with a sketch to make sure that we had done that correctly. I also know that 1 foot is equivalent to 12 inches, still for circle A. So I'm going to use that information to calculate the circumference. We calculate circumference. In this case, I'm going to use circumference equals pi times d. You can use 2 pi r, but I have to find the radius and then multiply it by 2, so that's an extra step. Since I'm not asked for an exact value, I'm going to begin to use an approximation. So I'll use 3.14 for pi, and then the diameter, I'm going to use 12 inches. And so when I multiply those together, I get approximately 37.68 inches. My last step here will be to try to get an approximation for the number of centimeters here. So I'll take my approximate circumference, that's 37.68 inches, and I'm going to multiply it by the 2.54 centimeters per inch. That's the conversion that we were given. And this gives me a final approximation of about 95.7072 centimeters. So that is the circumference for circle A. Circle B is far less complicated. For circle B, I was given the circumference, and the circumference is 1 meter. I can use my facts here to say that, well, that also means that instead of 1 meter, I can write it as 100 centimeters because 100 centimeters is equivalent to 1 meter. So I can now see that 100 centimeters, this is circle B, is going to be larger than the circumference of 95.7 blah, 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 approximation for circle A. If you chose circle A for your answer, I can think of quite a few places where things might have gone wrong. So I think one thing you might have done right off the bat is maybe gotten confused about what's diameter and what's radius. That's always something that can be challenging. You might have forgotten to change the 1 foot into 12 inches, right? So maybe you didn't use 12, maybe inches, maybe you only used 1 inch, I'm not sure. Maybe somewhere along the line you forgot to convert this over to centimeters using that information. You might have tried to do this the other way as well. I think that the way I did this is the most efficient because you're doing all multiplication for circle A and then you do one very quick conversion for circle B. But I think if you had tried to do it the other way and said, well, I'm just going to keep 1 meter, and then you did a whole bunch of division, you might have ended up making a whole series of mistakes in there. There are a lot of things to pay attention to in here. So there are lots of ways where you might have made an error. And I think a lot of it is just maybe planning the problem from the beginning. I think drawing a sketch can be helpful. It gives me a nice image in my head, and it helps me keep track of, it helps me be more accurate when I'm choosing the formula, when I'm choosing the steps, when I'm thinking about what comes next. This is one of the ways that I increase my accuracy when I do math problems.